Welcome back, dear friends. Thank you for joining me once again on this sacred journey into the heart of Buddhist understanding. Today, we are going to explore a topic that touches on reverence, tradition, and the subtle power of symbols. A question that many modern practitioners might not have considered deeply is this: should we worship incomplete Buddha statues? In temples or even private altars, we sometimes encounter damaged or partial statues, only a head, half a torso, or a missing limb. Is it still appropriate to bow before such forms? What do these images represent? And why have scriptures advised caution in their presence? This isn't just about physical objects. It's about how we relate to the sacred, how we preserve the dignity of our spiritual icons, how we express gratitude and maintain connection to the teachings through the images that inspire us. So let's enter this conversation, not just with our intellect, but with our heart. Let us first remember what a Buddha statue represents. It is not merely a piece of art, a decoration, or an ornament. It is a living symbol, a representation of awakened consciousness, an external reminder of our own inner Buddha nature. When we bow before a statue, we are bowing not to the stone or the bronze, but to the enlightenment it signifies. Now imagine this. You walk into a temple in a remote village. The structure is old. Time has chipped away at the beauty. The central statue of the Buddha is cracked. Its head is missing, a hand is broken. And yet, incense still burns. Offerings are still made, prayers are still whispered. Is this right? Is this respectful? Or is it a sign of deep faith, transcending form? The answer lies in understanding the balance between form and essence. In Buddhist teachings, especially in texts like the Upanishads Preceptus Sutra and the Great Wisdom Discourse, we are reminded that statues of the Buddha must be treated with utmost respect, not because the physical form itself has power, but because our relationship to it reflects our relationship to awakening. The scriptures say, one should not create or display incomplete Buddha images. If damage occurs, conceal them respectfully. Do not offer them for worship. Restore them first, then reveal. Why such a strong stance? Because symbols matter. Because the mind of devotion is shaped by what it beholds. A half-faced Buddha may cause the beginner's mind to doubt. A dismembered form may unconsciously invoke sorrow rather than inspiration. To preserve the sanctity of the image is to preserve the sanctity of our own aspiration. But let's go deeper. The idea here is not to cast away damaged statues as trash. Quite the contrary. If a statue becomes broken, we are instructed to repair it with reverence or, if unable to restore, to respectfully enshrine or bury it, never to mock, ignore, or discard. Because even a damaged statue once carried the prayer of many. Its surface may be cracked, but its history is sacred. Let me share a story. There was once a sculptor monk named Jain. In his youth, he carved dozens of Buddha statues across villages. Decades later, now old and half-blind, he visited a temple where one of his early works stood. Time had worn it down. A bird had nested in its chest. One arm had fallen. The face was unrecognizable. The villagers still prayed there. Jain fell to his knees, tears in his eyes, not of sorrow, but of awe. Though my hands shaped this, he whispered, the prayers it heard were not mine. Let it stand, but let it be repaired. This is the heart of the teaching. Honor the form because it honors the faith of countless others. But what happens when we ignore these guidelines? There is a belief passed down that worshipping a damaged Buddha statue may not just be ineffective, but can lead to subtle imbalances in the mind. Not curses, not supernatural punishment, but inner confusion. Because when the utter image of perfection is visibly broken, the subconscious may question whether perfection is possible. The mind craves wholeness in what it worships. So what should we do? First, if you find a broken statue, don't be alarmed. Treat it with reverence. Don't discard it casually, cover it respectfully. If you can, find a way to restore it. If not, enshrine it in a quiet place, not for public worship, but for rest. Like an old teacher retired, still honored, still loved. Second, educate your community. Let others know that the image of the Buddha is not mere decoration. It's not to be left exposed in disrespectful places, not on floors, not beside garbage, not used as art with no understanding. Third, when you worship, let your heart be the offering. Even before a perfect statue, a distracted heart finds no awakening. Even before a blank wall, a sincere heart finds the Buddha. But the ideal is to align both the form outside and the devotion inside. And now, you may wonder, does this mean I must be rigid, that I should not bow to a statue just because it is damaged? And no, there is nuance. In emergencies, in times of scarcity, in regions where nothing else is available, a humble image, even incomplete, can still be a focus for devotion. But the mind must be aware. One bows to the truth behind the form, not the form itself. And where possible, one still strives to uphold the dignity of the sacred. There's a deeper message in all this too. The damaged statue is a metaphor. It represents the state of our own practice. None of us are whole. All of us have cracks, failures, traumas, regrets. We are all chipped in some way, and yet, we are still worthy of devotion. The lesson here is not to hide our brokennesses, but to respect it, to tend to it, to seek restoration, not shame. A complete Buddha statue reminds us of the perfection we can become. A damaged statue reminds us of the compassion needed for the path. Both are teachers, but only one is meant to be the focus of communal worship. There's also the social angle. In many temples, budget constraints or neglect cause statues to be left in poor condition. It is the duty of practitioners to care for these images, not out of superstition, but out of love. Organize repairs, clean the altar. Teach the young about respect. This is practice. Before we conclude, I want to return to something deeper still. The true Buddha is not a statue. It is awareness. It is wisdom, it is compassion. But because the human mind needs reminders, we create images, we light incense, we bow. These acts are not meaningless. They shape our psyche. They train our reverence. In a world increasingly skeptical of ritual, let us remember that ritual is not about superstition. It's about relationship. When you bow before the Buddha, you're not appeasing a god. You're aligning with your own highest self. When we show care for the form, we train the heart in care. When we protect the image, we protect the sacredness of our own mind. So, should we worship incomplete statues? Not in the traditional sense, but we should not discard them. We should care for them, repair them, honor their journey. And when no other option exists, worship sincerely, but remember the deeper teachings. As always, I now invite you to reflect. Have you ever encountered a damaged statue? How did it make you feel? Did you understand its symbolic weight? Have you ever felt like a damaged statue yourself? How did you find restoration? Please share your thoughts in the comments. Let's support one another in bringing dignity and clarity back into our spiritual spaces. If you found this teaching valuable, please like, subscribe, and share it with your community. Help spread awareness. Help protect what is sacred. Thank you for watching this video.